country.
Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to walk you step by step through this video I made the other day from this concert I shot last summer called the Love Kelly End of Summer Jam. I film and edit a lot of concert recap videos, so this is like a big niche of mine. I absolutely love editing these videos. It's just tons of energy. You get to throw in all these cool transitions and effects. It's a lot of fun. I got a ton of love on the last video where I broke down another edit I did just like this one, so thank you guys for supporting that. First things first, this sequence is in 3840 by 1772. I saw on YouTube that it's a new aspect ratio that you can use, so when you turn the video horizontally, it fills up the entire screen, especially with like the new phones that have like wider bezels or something like that. I don't know if it's true. I just decided to give it a shot. I think it looks kind of cool. My first step when I'm editing these videos is going through all of the footage I have and cutting out bits and pieces and which I think would look good and could transition well together. You know, what makes sense. You know, don't be fooled by this finished product. You know, it takes time. You know, you gotta go through all this footage and like find what works. So in this first clip here, which I used to introduce the video, you can see we have a text reveal of the location Vermont, my home state, and the clip which I have in an After Effects composition. So in here I just have a shake sauce transition. I use shake sauce a ton. It's from Brian Delamata. I love this plugin. It's great. So here I just used a keyframed hard hit with flash to kind of transition into the next clip. When I was filming out, I already zoomed out manually, so it kind of just made a nice like zoom out transition. So a little hit right before the zoom out to transition into the zoom out. Now with this text effect, I ended up masking over landing cube, so I ended up creating a mask here and keyframing that to follow until this bit, which I got rid of the mask, and I did a keyframe in so the text was kind of, you know, moving still, something was going on. Here I just went into the essential graphics text and I got rid of the fill here, so I got rid of that, turned on my stroke, put it to 7, and I did a little like quick flicker, so I just cut every other frame. So I just pressed C and then cut. Deleted a few of them to have like a little flicker effect, and then at the end here there's just a quick zoom to kind of help zoom that Vermont in. I'll show you guys how to do that here. So if we just delete the mask, so I'm just going to create a mask using the pen tool. Click that. Now just click and drag around the subject where the text is, so right here, and we're going to invert this. I'm going to feather it just a little bit, kind of help smooth those edges. So now if we click off, kind of looks like it's behind them. You know, we could clean it up a bit more, but I'm trying to show you guys how the effect works. Now, since he's not moving a lot, and if the few frames before we just keep Vermont, you know, in the front, we don't have to keyframe it much, but I'm going to do just a little keyframe. So we're going to keyframe the path frame by frame here. You know, maybe move this over like to the right a little bit, another frame, kind of like goes to the left, and then there you go. So now it's keyframed to the movement of his body. As far as the scale in, super easy. Click your scale, select your value. I did 110, and I think I highlighted these and I Beziered them, so it kind of makes like a different animation when it zooms in. You'll see here, it's been one of my go-to effects. I've talked about this in tons of my videos. It's a brightness flash. All you gotta do is bring brightness and contrast on here. I can show you guys how to do it. Start a keyframe right here. Just go like one frame over and bring it to 100. Back over, bring it to 0. So now you have a nice little flash. I use this film burn to kind of transition both clips into each other. I have my mark set here on this audio clip right here. So on every hit, I have a shake, which is from the Tiny Tapes Fast Movement Packs, which I'll link in the description below. I highly suggest supporting him. These are great transitions, super easy to use. So I ended up using this on every hit. I didn't do anything to these clips, really, just besides using these hits. I used a little bit of a flash here, give it some energy. So I kind of like this black and white look. All I did was go into the creative and I selected the SL Noir Nouvelle look just to make it black and white. I thought that was kind of cool. And then as we transition to this next clip here, you'll see I have Real Smart Motion Blur attached to these clips, which kind of just helps smooth everything over. Easily one of the best motion blur plugins you can get. Now for this clip, I use the transform tool to kind of follow. As you can see, the clip's kind of bouncy because I'm following the artist's energy. So I use the transform tool. I did a little scale in, scale out towards the end, so it kind of zooms in when he's up in the air. As he comes back down, kind of zooms back out. To get that nice motion blur, I just deselected the shutter angle, brought it to 360 here. I just keyframed the scale, started at 100, came to 130, and then back to about 110 is my guess here. I auto Beziered all these keyframes, so I just highlighted them all, right clicked, auto Bezier. Now in this clip, it was nice because I already panned up to the left, so I used another directional blur transition from the Tiny Tapes pack to match this swipe into the next clip. It's actually another clip of the artist that is zoomed out here. I just put some real smart motion blur to make that zoom out look nice and blurred. So I tried to match up where he's at the end of this clip here with this next clip where she's at. So you can see it kind of, your eye is already there, so it kind of makes sense for the clip to start here as well. On this clip, I did a bunch of speed ramping. I always like to twist this little knob a little bit to ease the speed ramp. So I ended up speeding it up right here, slowing it back down, speeding it back up. As you can see, if we play through, it's nice and smooth, so it pretty much speeds up when she stands up. I also put real smart motion blur on this clip as well to smooth the speed ramping. And on this clip, I have a few things going on. It's a nested sequence, so we'll go inside the sequence here. So I speed ramped at the beginning of the clip, brought it back down to a normal speed here because this one's at the normal speed. Speed ramped it again into this clip, speed ramped at the beginning of this and slowed it down. You know, each of the speed ramps kind of match up. You know, if it's gonna be fast at the end, you want it fast at the beginning. You know, if you want to have that like smooth speed ramp transition. And I liked cutting from a close shot to a far shot because it just shows a few different angles of her performing. And then after I nested all of this, which again you can just do by highlighting all of your clips, right clicking and then pressing nest, I just put a real smart motion blur on there and a brightness and contrast to do some flashes between each of the transitions. I thought this sequence was pretty cool because we're showing the whole crowd here, but this clip where he comes up, comes back down, I feel like it really matches the energy because as we can see here, the crowd's, you know, coming into each other. So he's like, all right, the energy's building up, and then the crowd just like bumps into each other. Everyone's going crazy. Kind of just has that like impact. When you're editing videos like these, you're gonna have to make creative decisions that people might not understand. At the end of the day, the video that you're creating is what you imagine in your head. So there's really no right or wrong answer. Just do what feels right. Now this is a really cool segment here. I actually hadn't tried this effect before where it's a little bit of a clone effect. I'm gonna bring you guys into After Effects, show you how I did that. So what I ended up doing is that I took my original clip here and I duplicated it 1, 2, 3 times. I created a mask around him. So I could show you guys again. If I turn off all of these, I can show you how I did it. We're gonna take this clip here, I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna create a freeze frame right here by time, freeze frame. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mask him out by clicking the pen tool, and we're just gonna start drawing a mask around him. If you're on Windows, you know, Control Z, undo any of your selections. I'm gonna go into the masks and feather it a little bit. So now if we go ahead and go to the transform and we change the position, you can see my computer's kind of struggling to keep up here, but you can see he's cloned. So now if we play through it, you know, you've got this cool clone effect. So I ended up doing that 3 different times. So then I would just, in this case, you know, here's our mask layer. I duplicated it again and I started it, you know, a few frames forward, and then I changed the position of this one as well. So like here, I did one over to the left as well. So just click and drag the position over. You can see as you go frame by frame, you know, the clones show up. So that's the general idea of how I did the effect. I thought it was pretty cool, and to just add some more energy to it, I just put on a camera shake, which is again from the Shake Sauce plugin here, the XY shake here, so it just adds a little bit of energy behind it. So here on this clip, I have a zoom in scale at the end using a transform tool. Looks like I scaled in quite a bit, I think up to 130. Deselect that shutter angle here, set it to 360 if you want that nice motion blur. So I zoomed here at the end because the next clip is a zoomed in portion of this clip. Because if you didn't have the zoom in here, like say I turn this off, this is without it, and it kind of just, if my computer will load here, it kind of just cuts to a closer shot. So I used this zoom in to help ease that cut right there. Used another swipe up, swipe down transition from the Tiny Tapes pack. You're gonna see me use a lot of these transitions here, a lot of these swipes. So this clip is cool because you can see I tracked to his head movement. So I just used the track motion feature inside of After Effects for this effect. So I took my clip, right clicked it, replaced with After Effects composition, if you didn't know that already. And we can start over here with this tracker. I'll show you guys how to use it. I'm gonna set my scales and positions back to where they were. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on the clip and do track motion here. Scroll wheel to zoom in. I'm gonna track it to like his nose and use the bigger box to select his face. We're gonna press play, and I was going to go frame by frame and track this spot. You might have to clean it up as it goes along here. You can see it's doing a pretty good job at staying on the nose. So here you can see it went off, so just pause. Then I'm going to bring it back up to the nose area. So once you're done tracking that point, you're going to want to press apply and then OK. And this is kind of what we have here. Depending on your clip, you might have to resize the clip. In this case, you know, it's scaled in pretty nicely. I did have to scale in the clip a little bit. You know, if I bring out the scale to 100 here, you're going to see that if I left it how it is, it's going to have these black bars. So you're going to have to scale the clip in accordingly. For these two clips, I used a mask transition to transition this guy into this clip here. I actually have a video that I just did on how to do that exactly. So I'm going to refer you guys to that one at this link up here. Go ahead and watch that. It'll show you how to do that. But just as a brief overview, I used this original clip here and I made a freeze frame, and all I did was mask the subject and use a scale in with some motion blur, which I activated using this button right here, the motion blur icon, and then I just scaled it in so there was a nice transition into this guy. And then at the end here, I just tried using a mask inside of Premiere Pro. So as you can see, I actually just masked the subject here and I pulled this clip, which was going to be right here. I pulled it out a few frames so it was underneath here. So as you can see, you know, the background cuts out into the next clip, but he's still here. So I cut him out using a mask like we did earlier in the video, and then I keyframed it. You know, went frame by frame, moved my points around. They could be better. Like, this is way out of the way. I could have fixed that, but I didn't. So I just keyframed that to have him transition out of the frame. Next clip's right here. Swipe up into this clip, which is the final one. And for this little zoom out closeout here, you can see I used a film burn right before it closes out. But to do this, all I did was used a custom lumetri color, which is in your effects, and I keyframed the expansion so that it closes in. And I can show you guys how I did that here. So we'll grab our lumetri color. Now I'm going to create a mask using the circle tool, make it nice and big, holding shift right now. I'm going to feather it a bunch. Basic correction, and we're going to bring the exposure all the way down and invert this. So I'm going to expand it so it kind of has a smoother transition as it comes in. So I'm going to put it to like 941, keyframe it. We're going to come out to the end about right here, and then I'm going to bring it all the way down till she's completely blacked out. It's almost like a camera lens closing, or just like a circle closing on the subject, just coming in to transition the clip out. An important step here is noting the sound design and music choice. In this case, I used the Don Toliver song, and I set my points on where the beat hits, which you can do by pressing your audio clip and then pressing M. So I just went with the kick and snare hit, and I put some points so I could cut and put my videos to those points. I'll be sure to link in the description some of the packs I use for a lot of my sound design. Not sponsored. I haven't been sponsored in any of these videos. I'm just trying to put the resources out there for you guys, because again, I'm a big believer in using resources that you can find online to make your edits better and take them to the next level, while also incorporating, you know, the knowledge you have inside of these editing softwares. Let me know if this video helped you guys. I would love to see what you guys come up with. Send it my way. I'd totally love to check it out. I appreciate you guys watching my videos. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, which is huge to me. For most people, it's probably not a special number, but whatever, you know, for me it is. Like, when I started this channel, I knew I wanted to make tutorials and post my work, but at this point I'm really just trying to like build a community and like help you guys out. So again, thank you guys so much for supporting my videos, subscribing and liking. Feel free to leave a comment. I try and post every week. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.
I do damage, can't stand it. Psycho bandit, like it's Marilyn Manson. Got the cash advancing. Get the Sprite and enhance it. Pull the walk out the pantry. Take a sip and I'm dancing. She bop like a Plan B.